couple of examples, or first of two examples of an area who's already using quite a lot of discretion and consistently is the kind of the agency of the year at the National Healthy Housing Awards. So welcome, Stuart Green from Middlesbrough Staying Put.
Well, thank you for the invite along, Paul. It's my first webinar, so I am fairly new to the world of DFG. So yes, plenty of support around through colleagues and also yourself. So thanks for the invite, and good afternoon, everyone. So yes, so my name's Stuart Green. I am from the Staying Put Agency for Middlesbrough Council. So just give you a quick overview of the Staying Put Agency. So we are a home improvement agency, and we are part of adult social care within Middlesbrough Council. So we're a preventative service. We are part of what we call our Middlesbrough Independent Living Services. That's kind of our preventative offer. We work really closely with occupational therapy services, rehabilitation services, digital inclusion, and many others. And one of the great things about our kind of service that we actually co-located with our preventative kind of partners, working just kind of based just opposite the main hospital within Middlesbrough as well. So location really key. Being able to kind of work alongside our kind of preventative colleagues. So it really works well. So yeah, just in regards to our housing systems policy, what we've found is kind of recently kind of the agency's kind of developed, kind of expanded beyond the kind of traditional kind of bricks and mortar. Taking into account obviously external pressures with cost of living and setting pressures on NHS and social care. So we've expanded quite rapidly the last few years. So we're in the process at the moment of kind of reviewing our housing systems policy so that kind of covers and reflects what we do now, and kind of it captures those kind of supports that we have for vulnerable families within Middlesbrough. But today I just want to quickly focus on kind of the smaller grants projects that we have, and the handy person service, our season support, and kind of a focus on some of the kind of the partnership working that we do, which really kind of bolsters the work that we do and supports our offer, allows us to do a little bit more. So yeah, that's kind of as we go through this presentation. I just want to kind of touch on that as well. So firstly, just looking at our handy person service. So our handy person service deliver our manor adaptations. We have a current budget around about £65,000 for this. This is for the actual work, so this doesn't include obviously the staffing, things like our van hire, etc. Yeah, our team has the handy person service is around 17 members. That includes the kind of the coordinator. It delivers adaptations of around about a value of up to £1,000. So it's minor works, and what we tend to say is works that take around about kind of 3 hours or less. So anything kind of more than that, we are looking into kind of potential major or kind of small measures. But this team look after kind of the grab rails, handrails, steps, key safes, that kind of work. So I said minor adaptations. In the year 22-23, the service completed 2,136 minor adaptations. The team worked really closely with our occupational therapy team. Our handy persons are trusted assessed, trained, so they're able to make adjustments to OT requests to meet the needs of residents, and that helps speed up process. It takes the pressure off the OT service, and we're quite fortunate because we've got a really strong OT service. But the handy persons, they're able to kind of make those adjustments, and they said take the pressure off the OT for kind of minor adaptations. So our OT service can focus on doing kind of telephone assessments, and allow them to kind of focus their attentions more on kind of the complex cases. So that works really well. The team's kind of grown beyond that though, from a traditional handy persons to support other aspects of our preventive kind of offer. So we have things like our telecare service, which around the kind of the installation of assistive technology. That's kind of various sensors, bed sensors, fall detectors, buddy systems. And again, the handy person service supported with that, and we installed 2,249 telecare installs last year. So we have within the handy person service, we have one member of staff who's dedicated kind of to technology, who kind of supports with the assistive tech side. But you also have the kind of, within the team, we've got a number of members who have the skills to be able to install and provide basic advice. We also have a smart home pilot at the moment, which is putting smart home technology into people's homes to see how that impacts on their confidence and their independence. So this involves things like voice activated technology, Alexa and your Google Nest, to be able to kind of control lights and heating and blinds, all that, so keeping people kind of independent and safe in their own homes. So yeah, so our handy persons are key to that, supporting with the setup and advice around the smart homes technology. And the current pilot is supporting 25 old and vulnerable residents. We're looking around about kind of £15,000 for this pilot, and that works closely with kind of Leeds University. So yeah, carrying on with the handy person service, it said they're involved in lots of different things. So this is part of our hospital to home service. So our hospital to home is a service that's kind of through our Better Care Fund. So we have a staff member based in the Transfer Care Hub at our local hospital within James Cook Hospital. And the hospital to home service kind of links in with the handy persons to ensure that kind of manner works complete in a timely manner. So yeah, so the hospital home service is quite a new service. We've always had good links with the hospital, particularly around our kind of telecare and assistive technology offer. But I suppose the links from the hospital to our wider preventive kind of model have always been a little bit kind of loose up until now. So the hospital home service kind of are based working within kind of the discharge hub, and they provide a direct link to the Staying Put Agency and the services. And referrals can go kind of through kind of the trusted assessor kind of route, so that man adaptations around kind of particularly around getting people back home and enabling kind of access to the properties. So those kind of issues can be dealt with really, really quickly. So so that we don't need them to kind of go through an occupational therapist. So we've got the trusted assessors there who can do that. The work can be passed to the handy person service, and that work can be done pretty swiftly. So yeah, we've got the sanctuary scheme as well. So that's linking with our local kind of domestic abuse services. So we have a service that's commissioned by My Sister's Place, which have been kind of struggling around the delivery of the sanctuary scheme due to contractor issues and increasing costs. So after an option appraisal, they actually looked at using our kind of our handy person service. We've got some fantastic links with contractors and the quality of the works, well known and well respected. So yeah, so after an option appraisal, we decided to use our handy person service to support the sanctuary scheme. So we get additional funding for that. So that pays for staffing. It also pays for costs of work. But what that does is, like I said, within the handy person's team, we've had extra training. We've had things we're now supporting in terms of fitting security measures and these kind of things. So it just helps build that team. It adds a team member to that, so the team becomes a little bit more robust. Additional skills, additional knowledge. So it's great for the handy person service, but it's also providing a fantastic service to the sanctuary scheme as well. But just a few other little bits of support from the handy person service. They are involved in kind of minor projects within residential care homes and learning disability settings, and during the COVID period, they were fantastic in supporting around providing PPE. And then they're also linked with things our other services, sensory support in terms of delivering equipment, similar to how they've with things like telecare and assistive technology, they can go out and deliver equipment, set equipment up for sensory, and things like delivering workshops for our other groups. We do work around social inclusion, and we've got a team there that helping support people around bringing community groups together. And for handy person service used kind of bits of scrap wood from some of the kind of the work that they've done to then build things like bird boxes for groups and stuff like that. So always getting involved in lots of different things. Handy person service, it's a fantastic service. I said, we look to get involved in lots of different things to help kind of raise the profile and and support our preventive services. So small measures grants. So these are grants that we offer for things like I said don't traditionally fit within traditional DFG, but are key to keeping people safe and independent in homes for longer. So we have a 25,000 budget for this. It's not a huge budget, and grants are available up to £6,000 for people with disability long-term conditions, and those who receive qualifying benefits or can demonstrate financial hardship. And some of the kind of work that we've done with this, we're providing fencing to provide safer spaces for disabled children. We've provided drop curbs, it's like boiler and heating system replacements, property clearances. So this we kind of support this work with things like additional funding. So we'll look around for things like Greg's Fund and Lady Crossfit and lots of other pots of funding there. It's all about kind of understanding the individual that you're working with and kind of trying to access funding that's there. So what we'll do is actually we'll often look to and explore multiple options to achieve kind of a positive outcome. So so it's not a huge budget for this, but we tend to get a lot done because we're always kind of looking at other areas, other pots, that we can kind of get some funding from to support. And the hoarding service that we have. So this is working alongside Age UK. It's for the delivery of this service. So Age UK provide kind of the therapeutic support, and they kind of link with the Staying Put Agency for work that's needed to keep person and property safe. So this could include things like property clearances, minor works. So obviously we know that with hoarding, when this is brought to our attention, usually that's because of some kind of intervention from emergency services or social care. And often in these situations, there's things that need to be done around kind of repairs or safety issues or issues with the property or the person. So we work closely with Age UK and using the small grants and the extra little bits of funding from things like the Greg's Fund and Lady Crossfit and other bits. We were able to kind of do some fantastic work with this. And in 2022, 23, we delivered kind of 43 interventions in regards to hoarding. We've also done things around kids' home projects. So again, additional £20,000 funding was secured for this. This was helping, home safety measures for children. So things like baby gates, cupboard locks, these kind of things. And obviously this links to the handy person service who were able to kind of go out and do the installs. So yeah, so the last thing I want to kind of just bring to attention is our seasonal support service. So we often call this our kind of winter warmth scheme, but obviously as we've seen in the last couple of years, particularly last year when we had them kind of really, few weeks of kind of the heat wave. So we've also got to think about keeping people cool during the summer as well. So it's we now call it our seasonal support. So this is a £30,000 budget for this, which is around kind of boiler, heating replacements, and things like items to keep people warm and comfortable in their homes, whilst identifying kind of more permanent solutions. So yeah, we work closely with Public Health, Affordable Warmth, which is kind of VCS led. The service helps deliver practical solutions as well as provide advice and guidance. It's not just about doing kind of works and stuff. It's giving people the advice and the knowledge around kind of managing their heating and how to keep warm, etc. So we get additional funding which we obtain. So this we get additional funding via Gas Safe, which supports a worker that doesn't often fall within the remit of DFG. So things like repairs and services. And what we try to do is we try to target kind of vulnerable and elderly residents kind of during the summer months, so we can get boilers serviced, so that kind of prevents kind of the difficulties during winter. And in 2022-23, we supported 480 vulnerable residents with the seasonal support scheme. So this is kind of repairs and replacements. We also provide kind of practical items as well, such as electric heaters and fleeces and gloves and other things to keep it warm. I said, as a kind of temporary measures. And we've also considered things like thermal kind of imagery to identify kind of drafts and cold spots in homes, and again that will kind of link to handy person services to deliver kind of measures to keep homes warm and safe. So that's just a thought that we've kind of considered. So that may be something for this winter coming, but that's an overview of some of the services that we offer. I said some of the kind of the smaller services there. That's kind of, but I think the thing with the Staying Put Agency is that it kind of all links together. So we work closely with each other, and it's, I think with any situation we're going to look at that and see, right, okay, well, what can we do? What kind of funding can we use? What can support the different elements of I suppose of a problem that we've got to try and get the best solution. So if something doesn't necessarily fall within the kind of the DFG remit, we'll look to external funding or other grants that we might have to try and achieve the best outcome. But the key to this is the partnership work that we have. So I said, they said smaller kind of schemes that we've got going on, we've been able to do lots with purely because of the work that we do alongside our partners. So we have our kind of internal partners doing lots of work with environmental health, public health, children's services, or domestic abuse services. Externally, work that we do with the NHS and the hospital, the voluntary community sector with Age UK and Middlesbrough Environment City, ISIS Place, for example. We do obviously the work with Leeds University with the smart homes, and we've done work with residential homes as well. So key to our success really is that that partnership work, and then obviously getting more out of what we've got. I put my contact details on there as well, so if anyone wants to get in touch with me, I'm more than happy to have discussions and around this or answer any questions. So you said feel free to take my details there and drop me an email if you want to ask any questions or if you want to meet for a chat. And that's me.